So without a doubt, this is the worst purchase I've made since owning my Tesla. I'm about to be selling it on here. I'm gonna post it on here. I'm gonna post it on eBay if anybody wants it. But if you're traveling outside of California, do not buy a roof box. They are not worth it. Here in California, they are, because we have a charging station every 10 miles. Outside of California, they're not worth it.
Hey guys, so this is just a condensed version of the video that's about to play of me driving around, see what kind of range I get with the Thule box on top of the Tesla. I'm coming down with something, so I'm getting sick, so I'm trying to get this video done right now before I get sick. So there's a Tesla roof rack, Thule box, 18 cubic feet. Fits a lot, it's amazing, but the range, if it's a gas vehicle, I guess it's better, it's okay, but not on a Tesla. Even though they have an amazing infrastructure, charging infrastructure here in California, that's just in California. Outside of California, we took a trip, and here in California, I got 202 range when I tested this just this week. But we're driving on the 15. Yes, it's highway, but it's not in the open. There's house, there's walls, there's not that much wind other than the wind that you're driving on the freeway, of course. But when you're driving outside of California, the flatlands off the 40 towards Arizona, towards Vegas, and it's a flatland and you have just wind coming at you because it's a flatland, I think I was getting between 130 to one max of 180 range. It was horrible. It was horrible traveling with this beautiful Thule box. I think that's how you say it. It was horrible traveling with this box outside of California on flatlands on the 40 or the 15. From Hesperia to Needles, it's 178 miles, give or take. And I got there with about 10% left. 178 miles, and I got there with 10%. That's the closest. There's a charging station at Barstow, but when I passed Barstow, I was like, I don't need a charge. From Barstow to Needles, maybe it's about 40 miles less. So maybe I should have charged at Barstow. But then from Needles to Barrow, Arizona, where we were going to, the wildlife zoo, the drive-through wildlife zoo, it's another 180 miles. And I got there once again with just 20% left. And there's no chargers in Barrow, Arizona. I had to go all the way to Kingman, and Kingman is about 20 miles more, 60 miles more. So when I got to Kingman, the next day with just 6%. And that's only 170, take in mind. Like I said, two different stops, 178 miles apart each one. And I had to charge at 178 miles because of this box, when I normally get 270 without the box. So I was losing 100 miles of range without the box. When I've done my test, I get, if I'm speeding, 240 range. If I'm not speeding, 274, with still about 7 to 10% left. But with the box, I got 200 max. That's just horrible for long trips outside of California. So I love this thing, but I love how it looks. I've used it just for that trip and for the test to see how far it gets, and I'm about to sell it because there's no point in driving when your car only gives you 200-mile range no matter what. From the high desert to the beach, it's 100 miles. So I'd have to charge before I come back. Anywhere it's far away from here. My Tesla, like I said, it's beautiful. I love the range without the box, but with this box, it looks amazing, but just the range. And I was gonna go with the Yakima, maybe because it's slimmer, it's better, but I ended up going with this one because they were the ones that would ship it faster before my trip. But yeah, 202 range. I'm pretty sure I got less on the trip, especially going over 60. It's just sad to have to sell this thing. So I'm gonna post the link on here. I'm gonna sell it on eBay, OfferUp, and other places. See if somebody wants to give me, I'm gonna take a loss on it. Don't mind it, but it's beautiful. I used it twice. There's no scratches. But yeah, it's been used twice. One with stuff inside of it, the second time without anything on it. But as much as I love how it looks on the car, unfortunately, it just doesn't benefit anybody to have, doesn't benefit me at all. I hate charging as much as I do outside because you do have to wait. So I love it when I charge at home or charge at the gym because I don't want to be waiting, because it is, if you charge 100% an hour, if you charge to 80% in 25 minutes, and I do want the maximum ranges I can get because I am driving far. So it's for sale. click a like and watch the full video of me driving around showing you how far I can get with this box if you want to. If not, now you know I only get 202 miles. 202. That is horrible. That's, if a car, I would have never got a Tesla. I love it, but if I knew the mileage dropped so bad, I probably would not have gotten it. I would have probably got with the Rivian. There's some that gives you up to 400 mile range, so maybe you get 350. That's fine with me. 350 is fine, but maybe not for $50,000-$60,000 more, because I got this for 51 when the Rivian's about 90 something for 400 mile range. Ugh. All right, watch the video, press a like.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a range test. I've done this for my car various times, and whenever I'm without the roof box, I get between 247 is my lowest and 274 is my highest I've gotten in range. I know now that Tesla on the website is dropping the range of each model. I think the long range used to be 330, now it's at 310. The performance, which is this one, used to be at 300, now we're at 280 or 285. I can't remember exactly, but they're dropping the ranges because people are noticing that they do not last, especially the performance Model Y. It just, when you're stepping on it, wow. If you didn't hear that, that's something flying. So as you can see, the wind is crazy today. I'm currently at 90%. I've driven this car for 17,000 miles in the last, I've owned it since December. We're in April, well, at the end of December. So January, February, March, April, about gonna be 4 months. And let's say we're at 437. So 437 at 100% charge. I'm about to just got out the gym, gonna go interpret right now. I'm gonna head down to I'm in the high desert, gonna head down to San Bernardino to LA, and then back home. That's, I wanna say, at least a 110 mile down trip. So it must be like a 90 mile back trip straight from LA to my home. And let's see how many miles I can get with the roof box, which is the worst purchase I've done for this vehicle. So I went from a truck to this Tesla. I went from a Tacoma. So a lot of loss of range, of room, not range. And I bought this because we just did a trip from California, high desert area, Victorville, to Arizona, to New Mexico. And I bought this so we can store more stuff, so we can have more stuff for the baby in the back and everything. Well, that was the worst choice, because all the tests I've looked up on YouTube do a test range, yes, with the box, but they do it in a just in near home areas where there's no wind, there's nothing. That wasn't me, I swear. My girl's gonna see this video and be like, that was you. Anyways, so I'm not embarrassed. I'm not gonna take that off. So all these tests that I've seen done, it's only in a 50 mile range where they test it on. They're like, oh, you only lose 3 to 5% range with the roof box. The car does great. Yes, when you're in the city, when you're driving on the streets, short drive range, that's fine. But when you're driving, and that's what we found out, that's what I found out, and that's what I'm saying, it's the worst purchase. When you're driving on the 15 freeway, then the 40 towards Arizona, and there's gusts of wind just blowing against you, my range dropped to, I'm not lying, 120 miles. 120 miles that I had at one point I had to go back, make a U-turn, charge where I was at, because I was not going to make it to the next charging station, which was only 80 miles away, and I was not going to make it. So with almost 100% charge, 437, let's see what we get today. Yep, that's the kind of wind you get when you're driving. So on the freeway, look at them trees. So let's see what kind of range drop I get with my roof box on here today. So I've driven more than a quarter of the battery, so 35%, and I'm at 503. So I drove for 67 miles. And take in mind that the wind is crazy, just crazy today. It's crazy how strong it is. There's all these tumbleweeds flying everywhere. It hit the car for sure. I'm gonna see how scratched up it is. It is just crazy that in 67 miles I lost more than 25%. Usually 25% gives me 75 miles or a little bit more. because it'd be 75 plus 75. That's what, I can't remember, 150. Then plus another 75, that's 300. So I get around 280, 240 to 80. But right now I'm at 67 miles and it took away 35%. That's a crazy large loss. So, and this is right here where it's not that bad, but driving in the highway, going on this trip, I was stressing out because my range was not going to last me 150 miles, going at 70, 60, 70, 75 nonstop. These tumbleweeds, look at this. That is, it's coming off, but I want to scratch it more. But all these are really in there. See, that's really in there. I got clear bra just up to here. So from here on up, all these are the scratches. Down here, I don't care. I got clear bra all over that, but so just got to the last charging station and these poor guys. So gonna charge the last time. I'm at 10%. This is where I'm glad that we went with Teslas, because there's two cars right now waiting. Mercedes, so I'm at 12%. And as you can see, there's on a queue, a Mercedes are waiting in line for their turn. So I stopped at 12% so I can just go home, and I'm still to get home. In order for me to get home, it's gonna take, I'm at negative 21%, so I gotta charge now. I'm tired. So at 12%, it's already charged pretty fast. I was pre-charging, warming it up. Oh man, how did I get to the, so it's at 256 kilowatts. I warmed it up before coming here, so it's at 100%, so it says it'll take 50 minutes to 100%, but I'm only gonna charge like 60. 40 will get me home, but just in case, because as you guys remember, I lose a lot due to this. So 40 gets me home, but not with this, it won't. So I started the day at 17,437. I'm at 640. When we subtract those two, we get a range of 202 miles. So as I've mentioned, I've done this test various times just to see what kind of range I get on my performance. I like to say performance because that way you guys know what kind of range I'm looking at. And I usually get, I've done this test 3 times without the box, and I get, my lowest has been 249. I always have it on chill mode, so I'm not stepping on it. 249 has been my lowest, and 274 has been my highest with 7% left. So at 274, I was like, it was mostly 80, I want to say 75 to 80% highway driving. Today it was 70% highway driving, 30% street driving, and I only got 202 range. So it has just been horrible to have this thing on. I lost between 40 to 60 miles of range. And before purchasing it, my mistake was I looked up what people were testing the roof box, and just the scientific way when you see on their screen and everything, but they would only drive for 15, 20 miles, and they would be like, oh look, it was only a 3% loss. No bro, but you had to do the whole charge to see the whole car, drive it the entire, to see what kind of range you actually got in the real world. And the wind is crazy these last 2 days. We're right now in April 26th, and they say there's a storm coming, but the wind is just crazy in the Palmdale area. In the LA area, not as bad, but in the high desert area, the wind is just crazy strong. 30, 40 mile per hour gusts, winds. So we are just getting pounded by that wind. So with normal, let me see it. With the normal conditions of every day, with wind and on the highway especially, I took 202 mile range. 202, that's all I got. I know it's not the most scientific way, but it's real world. I'm driving. I have it on, I never passed 75 miles per hour. I had it on chill mode the entire time, and 202 range, that's what I got. That sucks. That sucks so bad. But what doesn't suck is, at least we're not there waiting. These guys have been there since before I got here. That car's been waiting. That car's been, Mercedes been waiting. And now there's another, what is that, Volkswagen waiting. We've been here for 5 minutes and I'm already at 32%. It's okay. So ultimately, this has been the worst purchase I've made with my Tesla. It looks awesome, it looks beautiful, but is it necessary? And just think about this. It's bad as it is. Here in California, where we have a charger every 10 miles, 5 miles, there's a charger. I went on a trip to Arizona. We didn't even make it to New Mexico. I just didn't want to go. And just to Arizona, I was stressing to make it because of the loss of range. So when it was all highway on the 40 freeway, and if I lost right now, thinking about it, I did 30% street driving and 70% highway driving. It was 100% highway driving against the wind. I was getting 150, 160. There was a point I was getting like 120. I charged about 6-7 times just to Arizona and come just to get there, or like no, I charged like 4 times to get to Arizona and about 4 times to get back, because I was getting 120, 150, 180 max. I want to one of these max. That's just too extreme. I was getting like 150 to 120 to 150. So I was like, never again am I doing this. It was the worst decision to buy, because when I saw the tests people were doing on YouTube, it wasn't the full range. They weren't driving for hours like I am right now. I know this is not the most scientific way, but it honestly shows you that 202 miles, that's what you're gonna get on a good day. On a very good day. It could get worse when there's stronger winds, when you're driving on open roads the entire time. Right now, I was on the 5 freeway, the 15 freeway, so there's not much wind, even only the highway wind. But when there's winds in the environment, it's a flatland, like on the 40 freeway to anywhere, it'll get worse.